Welcome back, music mavens, record collectors, and crate diggers. This is Ant on Music, and I'm your host, Ant. This week, we're going to take a look at some anniversary editions, a couple of new releases, some stuff that I found out while I was crate digging myself this week, and I promise you, the final video that contains anything about Steven Wilson's The Harmony Codex. Literally within an hour after making the last video that I made last week, mail arrived, and sure enough, from Burning Shed Records over in Europe, my Harmony Codex 3-disc deluxe edition showed up. But we're going to start off with an anniversary edition. We're going to start off with one of my favorite newer bands. When I say newer, they've been around about 20 years, but they're pretty much unknown out of prog circles in America altogether, and that is Riverside. Okay, these guys have been grinding it out for over 20 years. Saw them on tour earlier this year, back in March, and I got to tell you, nobody has more fun on stage than their keyboard player, Michael Lepage. This is the Shrine of New Generation Slaves. This vinyl, double vinyl set, comes with a 4-page booklet, has the credits and also the lyrics within. It's a gatefold sleeve with the artwork from the album. And the vinyl itself is a really beautiful blue vinyl. Take one of the two of them out to show you. Look at that. Transparent blue. Transparent ice blue. That's really neat looking. This is a fantastic album of theirs. Their new one, also called Identity, is another fantastic release from them. If you've never heard of them, give them a shot. They're really a great band. Definitely worth listening to. This album, like I said, 10th anniversary edition. Glad to see it on vinyl. Have it on CD, but now I'm even happier to have it on vinyl. New Generation Slave is a great song. Depth of Delusion. We Got Used to Us, Feel Like Falling, Deprived, Escalator Shrine, and then this also has Night Sessions 1 and 2 on there, which really good stuff, top to bottom. Mariusz Duda, who is basically like, I guess the best way to compare him, he's kind of like the Polish Steven Wilson in a way. He does a lot of different things. He has Riverside, which is his main band. He also has his solo career as Mariusz Duda, which kind of kicked up during COVID. And he also has his other solo project, which is Lunatic Soul, which is very European folky, very electronic, very different than Riverside. These guys are, got a pretty hard edge to them. They're along the lines of power metal. I should say progressive metal, but not Dream Theater progressive metal. They definitely have a European flair. I would say rainbowish in a way, but not the crazy guitars like Richie Blackmore. It's a different feel, a different vibe. So definitely Riverside, check them out, worthwhile. Next up, something I found crate digging. This one is local boys for us here in the New York area. This is Anthrax, and this one came out a while ago. This came back out in 2008. I happened to be out, looking at record shops and everything, and came across this one. And once again, I have it on CD, but I didn't own it on vinyl. And this is a pretty cool edition. You've got the artwork up front and out back. Another gatefold sleeve, has the lyrics, has the liner notes. And this one is produced by a New Rochelle native, an old friend of mine, Eddie Wall. For anybody that can go back to the 80s to get in the time machine, Eddie Wall was a member of a band, Meridian, and they were signed to Columbia Records, I believe. So Eddie's the producer on this one. Eddie's an old buddy of mine. This is the vinyl itself. It's a purple and white swirl vinyl. Really beautiful. And this is also a double album set from the band. And this album has John Bush on vocals. This was before they reunited with Joey Belladonna. And this is a great set from the Bush era. Got on here, What Doesn't Die, Superhero, Refuse to be Denied, Safe Home. Strap It On, Black Dahlia, which is a fantastic track. Taking the Music Back. It also has a bonus track on here called Ghost. So if you're an Anthrax fan, you probably already know about this one. It's called We've Come For You All. Great looking album, good sounding album as well. Probably the cheapest thing that I found this week, and I couldn't believe that I found it on vinyl, because this was a record store day release back I believe in 2018, and I actually found this, and it's not a cutout, but it was marked down to like $6. So pretty much I see something that I don't own, and it's $6. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. This is Jeff Tate's King of Thieves album. It's one of two albums that he's put out under his own name. The other one came out many, many years ago, and that was very electronic. This is kind of like this album. The best way to describe it is the album that Jeff Tate would make if he wasn't with Queensryche. And it's got varying degrees of likability, let's put it that way. But this is the album itself. King of Thieves, front cover, another gatefold sleeve. Big picture of one of the best vocalists in heavy metal right there, Jeff Tate. Awesome vocalist. And this is also a double vinyl set, and it is also colored. It's kind of like a lemon yellow, I guess you would call it. Almost lemon lime. So Jeff Tate, King of Thieves, found that on the cheap for $6. So yeah, I'll take it. Definitely take it. It also comes with this booklet as well. Has the lyrics inside. Credits. Not really too much as far as pictures go, just the one. But, came with that. So for $6, it's a nice little addition to my collection. Okay. When I found this, I was like, this really isn't that great of a listen. But it reminded me of not only Queensryche, but also another group that maybe too many people aren't familiar with. They're called Sweet Oblivion. And this is a kind of a cool project. This is an Italian band. And what they did was they've gotten 2 albums put out with Jeff Tate from Queensryche, formerly Queensryche, on vocals. Okay. And this was the most recent one that they put out. This was put out during COVID. Okay. This is Sweet Oblivion, and this one features Jeff. It's called Relentless, and it really is a good listen. Once again, gatefold, picture of Jeff only. So you guess you know who the record company is pushing this on. It's got the track listing on the back of the gatefold, and it is also a lovely piece of colored vinyl. That is a beautiful emerald green. And this is a good record. This sounds, the whole thing behind the Sweet Oblivion albums is that they're not mimicking Queensryche, but they reproduce that Queensryche sound, that classic Queensryche sound that you hear on the first 4 albums. And it really, it kind of reins Jeff in, musically, and they produce such high quality stuff as far as the sound of the album and the Queensryche feel. If you're gonna pick up something that you haven't heard before, Sweet Oblivion. If you're into Queensryche, this would definitely be one to check out. Relentless. The other one I have back here, I have it on CD. Still haven't been able to find this on album. This is just Sweet Oblivion with Jeff Tate. Another good album to check out, but they're definitely worth giving a listen to. Good songs on this one. You got Once Again, One Sin, Strong Pressure, Another Change, Remember Me, Anybody Out There, Aria, and Fly, Angel Fly. I dig their stuff. It's kind of like what Queensryche would be like today with Jeff if they weren't in separate camps at this point. And I do dig the new Queensryche stuff. And I just heard last night, I was listening to Sirius XM, that there is a cover out there that Queensryche has just released of them doing Rebel Yell, which isn't something I would expect them to do. Billy Idol's Rebel Yell, it's a good song. The version they do of it's pretty cool. To me, it immediately makes me wonder, is this something that's a one-off? Does this mean we're going to get a new album because they just put out Digital Noise Alliance not too long ago? I'm hoping that it's new material. It's just like a teaser track for what may be coming up as a new album. Looked online, couldn't find any information just yet last night. So I'm really hoping that Queensryche is going to come back, with Todd LaTorre on vocals and, put another strong album out, because the last two, The Verdict and Digital Noise Alliance, were just fantastic records. I really, really like Digital Noise Alliance. So that's all about Queensryche, Jeff Tate, Sweet Oblivion, them covering Billy Idol. So next up, okay, this I found out, shopping around. The Godfathers of Heavy Metal, Black Sabbath. This is from their reunion tour. It is available in colored vinyl. I ended up only being able to find it on standard black vinyl. The album itself is triple vinyl, which is really, really cool. It's got this picture of all the members of the band, the original members, with Bill. Big Bad Bill's there on drums. So this is great. This is just a phenomenal, I guess, keepsake, you would say, of that tour. I got to see them on this tour. I was really happy to see them with the original lineup. I had seen them with Tony from Ozzy's band on drums, but it was great to see, Black Sabbath as Black Sabbath. This is just a stellar track listing. It's like pretty much, whenever you see a band that you love, you never see everything you want live. But this, this doesn't leave too much out. I really wouldn't replace too much from this live set that's on here. I mean, they kick it off with War Pigs, Behind the Wall of Sleep, NIB, Fairies Wear Boots, Electric Funeral, Sweet Leaf. One of my favorite tracks of all time, Spiral Architect, Into the Void, Snowblind. Another one of my favorites, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Then into Orchid, Lord of This World, Dirty Women. And then the classic Black Sabbath track, Black Sabbath. Also really like the version that Typo Negative did of that. Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Paranoid. Then you have newer tracks, Psycho Man, Selling My Soul, and then you have two remixes, Psycho Man and Selling My Soul, the Danny Saber remixes. This was recorded over in their hometown of Birmingham, England, and this is definitely worth having. As far as the interior of the record, you have a pretty long essay from one of the editors of Kerrang is in there, and he has his his basically 2 pages of information on the concert. It's really cool. Got some pictures in here. Some classic pictures of Sabbath live in concert. And then probably the most infamous picture of Ozzy that we have, the Prince of Darkness on the throne right there. And these are basic black vinyl, but what else would you want for a Black Sabbath album but black? So that's that. And, great album set, really cool sounding, good set from the band, recorded very well. So when I was out looking and I knew that was coming out, so I went and grabbed that. I said, let me go check out, if there's anything, that I haven't gotten yet, and as far as Black Sabbath and Ozzy goes on vinyl, because I have everything they've ever done on CD, have some of their stuff on vinyl, but not everything. And what I found was this. This is pretty cool, all right? What? Patient Number 9? Where'd that cover come from? That's an alternative cover from Patient Number 9, Ozzy's last release. And this release is pretty good. You've got a lot of guest stars on this. Jeff Beck, Zakk Wylde, Eric Clapton, Tony Iommi. I mean, you can't really beat it. Mike McCready from Pearl Jam on the first track, Immortal. I mean, it's really great. And what was even cooler about this, even though it's not a gatefold sleeve, okay, and this too, basic black, nothing spectacular. It's got some of the artwork there. But what it came with was this, and this is what I didn't even know that came with this alternative cover of the Ozzy album, was this little card, right? Patient number 9, Ozzy Osbourne. That's neat, but this is the coolest thing, all right? Little graphic novel, Patient number 9, right? And, it goes through. The artwork is done by Todd McFarlane. Those familiar with comic books and also familiar with, I guess you would call them action figures that came out back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was the creator of Spawn, and he also did an action figure of Ozzy, which I have. It's up in the attic with a bunch of my other stuff that's in that grouping with Kiss and Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, and I'm sure at some point I'll have them out here. I'll probably have them up behind me, but this was really cool. I was like really psyched to find this in there. The artwork, I mean, it's Todd McFarlane stuff. It's great. You can't really beat this. It's as cool as it gets. It's a neat little giveaway inside the album, or I should say this version of the album. And this album's pretty good from Oz. I gotta admit, the album that came before this, that was produced by Andrew Watt, I really didn't like the sound of it. But this, and I think that's because Andrew Watt played a lot of guitar on it. This one, with having like heavy hitters like Iommi and having Zakk Wylde back in the fold and Jeff back, it's one of the last things Jeff did before he passed. It's just really phenomenal. And it sounds like Ozzy's had a lot of fun making this album. It's been out for a while, but just the fact that, found the alternative cover, yay, really psyched about that, have that in my collection. So that's cool. And for those of you that don't want to hear any more about Steven Wilson's The Harmony Codex, it's time to kick out of the video. Because this is it. I saved this one for last because this is the 3-disc box set. It has the original album on there, the Harmony Codex. Then it has a bonus CD, which is Harmonic Distortion. On that, it has additional tracks and a lot of remixes. It has a remix from the Manic Street Preachers of Economies of Scale. Has a remix called the Fault Line remix for the song Inclination. Meat Beat Manifesto excursion of the song Beautiful Scarecrow, and I know I've said it twice already. Really love that song. Love this version of it too. What I found most interesting, it kind of, I threw the disc in my player and was, just going about my business in the house and listening with it in the background. And what really grabbed my attention was the song Time Is Running Out, okay, which is done over by Michael Ockerfeldt. So you got Michael Ockerfeldt from Opeth on vocals on that one, and it really made me want to hear more of Opeth. Hopefully that Opeth is back in the studio working on stuff, or that, maybe he's working with Steven Wilson again on a new Storm Corrosion album. That would be cool too. There's also What Life Begins, a remix of that called the August 22nd mix by Roland Orzabal. A long version of the Harmony Codex, which is 17 minutes long, and then a 12-minute version of Staircase. The final disc, the Blu-ray disc, has high-resolution stereo mixes, stereo instrumentals, then mixes in 5.1, the instrumentals in 5.1, and the same thing with Atmos on both of those. And as usual, this is a phenomenal collection by Steven Wilson. You'll see 2 out of the 3 discs here. Second one is in my player. I've been listening to it this morning. And as usual, when Steven Wilson does something, it's never something small. It's like he really gives you a bang for your buck when it comes to artwork and everything like that when he puts out these deluxe editions. And it doesn't matter what label he gets signed to. He pretty much has extensive creative control over what he puts out. And it shows. I mean, if you like Steven Wilson, you're used to him doing stuff differently, you're going to like this. I mean, it really is. I mean, the book is, it's a big book full of artwork and lyrics and liner notes, and gets into everybody who played on the album. You know, from Nate Navarro on bass to one of my all-time favorite crazy people on bass, Nick Beggs. You know, so this is it. Harmony Codex. That is the final word on the Harmony Codex. I don't think there's anything else coming out regarding this until there's a live album that I will be sharing with you here. Once again, if you dig what I do, subscribe. I'd love to keep doing these videos and have people give me feedback. So please give me feedback. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me if there's anything you'd like me to get into, whether it's, you know, Maiden or Motorhead or Opeth or whatever. Doesn't matter. You know, I listen to a lot of different stuff. I know in the next few weeks I'm going to have some new releases coming in, such as new release from Marius Duda, also David Longman from Big Big Train, his final album that was being worked on when he passed. You know, share the video, tell your friends. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for giving me a listen and a view. I really do appreciate it. I love sharing my collection with people. And this is just a great little platform for me to do it on. Thank you so much for stopping by. As usual, peace, one love, and music. You guys rock. Thank you so much.